Draw and tell a story. Draw and tell a story is an activity in which a storyteller relates a tale while drawing on a large piece of paper. In this interactive story, each line or doodle drawn on the page is related in some way to what the speaker is saying. At the end of the story, viewers can see the finished picture, which is often a reveal. This activity is best suited for 2 to 7-year-olds, that is, preschool to first grade. Older children will likely get bored with it unless it's very cleverly done with an elaborate completed drawing. Draw and tell a story is a great way to change up story time at the library, and you have to craft your story to your audience. Older children will have a more complex story and picture than younger children. You need to be prepared for this activity ahead of time. This includes setting up the easel and large drawing pad or a large whiteboard in an area with adequate lighting so the picture is easily visible. You need to also make sure the markers have ink in them so you don't run out in the middle of your story. Draw and tell can also be managed with a device and either mirrored or on a display or screencast, which is what I did. As a storyteller, you should make sure you know the story well, so practice telling it and drawing it until you're unlikely to make a mistake. Speak audibly, carefully, and clearly. Draw precisely so the picture comes out correctly. I would also suggest that you have a few of these simple stories and drawings memorized, as this activity does not take much time. I would use this activity in the same location in the library that story time is performed, so the children know where to gather. This can also be done via social distance live stream or recorded for kids to view later. As stated before, Draw and Tell is for young children, ages 7 or younger, and the purpose is to engage their imagination and ensure they're active listeners. I chose to modify a story I found online, The Night Walk from the Story Room, about kids finding something in the woods at night. I liked that story and found it amusing, but I decided to modify it because the original story by Linda Muse on muse.notes.blogspot.com was too long and the drawing steps too complex for this presentation. So here is my story of The Walk in the Woods. One autumn evening when the moon was full, Jim and his father went for a walk in the woods down a broad path. They came upon a trail and decided to follow it, even though the path continued. They were walking along when they heard a rustling from above them. Jim showed his flashlight here and there, but only saw leaves. Then they heard some scratching, but saw nothing but twigs in the dim light. Jim shone his flashlight around, but it was going out, so all he saw were 2 round spots shining back at him. Then they heard a screech, and Jim's father laughed and said, "I thought so." He shone his flashlight up into the tree. And then they saw an owl.